Welcome, dear children, to today's topic dielectrics and polarization. As you hear the term dielectrics, what is dielectric? Dielectric actually they are non-conducting substances and they have no charge carriers, or in short we can say that they are insulators. So insulators are otherwise called as dielectrics. Okay, so you can make the distinction between dielectrics and conductors. Conductors, they have a large number of free charges, whereas dielectrics, they do not have any charge carriers. Let's discuss the case what happens when a conductor is kept in an external electric field. Okay, so as we already know, in a conductor there are free electrons which are free to move. So when such a conductor is kept in an external electric field, these free electrons, they will be moving under the action of this electric field. And since electrons are negatively charged, they will be moving in a direction opposite to the direction of electric field. And this movement, that means in the opposite direction of the electric field, electrons will get accumulated. That means that side a negative charge develops, and on the opposite side a positive charge develops. Got it? So on that negative charge side, we can see in the diagram, you can see sigma free means because of the free electrons, a negative charge density, negative surface charge density appears on one side, and on the opposite side, positive charge density appears. Okay, and because of these two surface charge densities, an electric field arises. So in the diagram, you can see two electric fields. One is E0 and one is E in. What is E0? E0 is the external electric field or the applied electric field. And what is this E in? E in stands for induced electric field. What do you mean by induced electric field? Because of this movement of free electrons inside the conductor, I said on either side charge densities are induced. Because of that induced charge densities, we have an electric field which is directed from positive to negative. Okay, then that electric field is called as E in. So E0 is the external electric field and E in is the induced electric field. And what is the case with their magnitudes? Their magnitudes are equal. So how much is the applied electric field? The same will be the induced electric field also. But what about their direction? Directions are opposite. So equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, the net electric field inside the conductor will be equal to 0. Coming to the case of a dielectric kept in an external field. So the diagram shows a dielectric kept in an external electric field. What happens? It's shown that there is an induced surface charge density on either side, negative charge on left side and positive charge on other side. But it's written E0 plus E in. That means the net electric field is not equal to 0 inside a dielectric. That is the case with a dielectric. And we are going to explain how can we explain for the non-zero electric field inside a dielectric when it is kept in an external electric field. So in the dielectrics, the molecules can be made of polar and non-polar types. We have already discussed about polar and non-polar molecules. In polar molecules, the positive and negative part, that means center of mass of positive part and negative part, will be slightly displaced even though the molecule is electrically neutral. Whereas in non-polar molecules, this positive center of mass and negative center of mass, they will coincide. Got it? So that makes the difference between polar and non-polar molecules. So dielectric itself can be of two types, made of polar molecules and non-polar molecules. So for polar molecules, you have examples HCl and H2O, and for non-polar molecules, you have H2 and carbon dioxide CO2. Now let's discuss in detail what is the mechanism involved in the polarization of dielectrics. Let's start with non-polar molecules. In the diagram, first diagram on the left side, it shows the case with the sample being kept in the absence of external field. So sample means a sample made of non-polar molecules is kept in the absence of electric field. It's written E is equal to 0. So as you can see from the figure, positive and negative parts, they coincide, their center of mass coincide, and hence for the individual molecule there is no dipole moment. For individual molecule there is no dipole moment in the absence of electric field in the case of non-polar molecules. Now coming to the second diagram on right hand side, it's written E not equal to 0. That means the sample is kept in the presence of external electric field. So when a sample of non-polar molecules is kept in an external electric field, each molecule becomes an electric dipole. How? The positive and negative center of mass in each molecule gets displaced under the action of electric field. There will be force due to electric field for the charges, and there will be intermolecular forces of attraction and repulsion inside it. Under the action of these two forces, an equilibrium is reached where each molecule has undergone a slight displacement in its positive and negative charges. Because of that, we can say that each molecule has become an electric dipole. So each molecule has got electric dipole moment. Got it? And there will be a net electric dipole moment for the sample as a whole, because each molecule is having dipole moment, and these dipole moments, they get added up to give a net dipole moment for the sample of this non-polar molecules. So we say that this dielectric is polarized. So let's go through the slides. Non-polar molecules develops induced dipole moment, and the dielectric is said to be polarized by the external field. The induced dipole moments of different molecules add up, giving a net dipole moment of the dielectric in the presence of external field. Here the induced dipole moment is in the direction of field and is proportional to the field strength. So that is a point to be noted. Induced dipole moment is in the direction of field and is proportional to the field strength. And the substances for which this assumption is true are called linear isotropic dielectrics. So there are dielectrics which do not belong to this category, but in our discussion we are considering only such dielectrics. Which type of dielectrics? Linear isotropic dielectrics. What is the peculiarity of such dielectrics? Induced dipole moment is in the direction of electric field applied and is proportional to the field strength. So as the field strength increases, induced dipole moment also increases. Now coming to the case with polar molecules. So we are assuming a sample of polar molecules first in the absence of electric field. So you can look in the diagram on left side. E is equal to 0. So as we stated earlier, polar molecules, they have individually they have dipole moment even in the absence of external electric field. So what about the sample as a whole? These individual dipole moments will be directed randomly in the absence of external field. That means they will be oriented in random directions. Hence, when you find the vector sum of all the individual dipole moments, you will get it to be 0. That means even if there are molecular dipole moments, the net dipole moment of a sample made of polar molecules, dielectric sample made of polar molecule, in the absence of electric field, there is no net dipole moment. Net dipole moment of such a dielectric is 0. So it's a point to be noted. Okay. But what happens when such a dielectric is kept in the presence of external field? You can see from the figure, each molecule, they try to get aligned in the direction of electric field. Okay, here the direction of electric field is from left to right. So in that direction, these individual dipoles are trying to get aligned. So these dipoles are getting aligned in one particular direction. So now the net dipole moment cannot be 0. So there arises a net dipole moment, and here also we say that the dielectric is polarized. So what we have, in the absence of external field, individual dipoles are oriented randomly. So net dipole moment is 0. And in the presence of external field, individual dipole moments tend to align with the field, and a net dipole moment in the direction of field is developed. Now the dielectric is said to be polarized. And the extent of polarization, it depends on the relative strength of two mutually opposite factors. So we are discussing the case with polar molecules. So as I said, when they are kept in external electric field, each dipole experience torque, and under the action of the torque only, they turn in the direction of external electric field. They rotate and get aligned in the direction of electric field. So we can say that there is dipole potential energy which tend to align the molecular dipoles. Okay, but opposing that, there will be thermal agitation because of the room temperature and all. No, these molecules will have some energy which will be in the opposite direction. So that thermal agitation will be trying to disrupt this alignment, whereas the potential energy due to electric field will be aligning the electrons, will be helping the these individual molecules to align in the direction of external electric field. So extent of polarization depends on these two factors. But anyway, there will be a net dipole moment in the direction of external electric field. So here we reaches at a conclusion, that is, whether the dielectric is of polar or non-polar type, the dielectric develops a net dipole moment in the presence of electric field. So mechanisms involved in the two types, that means polar type and non-polar type, both the types, the mechanism involved is different. But what is the net result? The sample of dielectric is getting polarized in the presence of external electric field, and this net dipole moment per unit volume is called as polarization. So we were using the word polarization from the beginning onwards. So when a negative charge and positive charge get separated, we say it is polarized. But here we use the word polarization to denote a physical quantity. So here we have a new physical quantity which is called as polarization. And what is that polarization? Net dipole moment per unit volume. It's not simply net dipole moment. Net dipole moment per unit volume is called as the polarization. And what will be the unit of this polarization? That you have to find out. Dipole moment, you know what is the unit, and per volume means per meter cube. Find it out and write in the notebook. Now, for linear isotropic dielectric, so I already told you there are different types of dielectric, and in our discussion we are considering only one type of dielectric called as linear isotropic dielectric. What is the peculiarity of linear isotropic dielectric? In such dielectrics, the induced dipole moment produced will be in the direction of electric field, and the induced dipole moment is directly proportional to the field strength. Okay, so for such isotropic dielectric, the polarization, so physical quantity polarization P is of vector quantity, and P is equal to chi E. Okay, what is that constant called? Chi, chi into E. So, polarization and electric field are vectors, and chi is a scalar quantity, and what is it called? It is a constant actually, which is a characteristic of the dielectric. Means for different dielectrics, this constant will have different values. And what is it called? Electric susceptibility of dielectric medium. So, obviously, it will be showing to what extent the dielectric sample gets polarized in the presence of an external electric field. So that name once more, what is it? Electric susceptibility of dielectric medium. Okay, and P, what is P called? P is called polarization, and it is nothing but net dipole moment per unit volume. So this is the general case when a dielectric is kept in an external field. That means inside the dielectric, all molecules, they have turned into a dipole. Okay, so when we look inside, that means inside the dielectric, you just take a small volume. When we take a small volume, you can see that the opposite charges of nearby dipoles, molecular dipoles, they are sitting very close to each other. Hence, they coincide and they neutralize. Got it? So, likewise, all such nearby opposite charges, they get neutralized inside the dielectric. So, this is what is happening everywhere inside the dielectric, in all the volumes. Even if you consider a small volume inside, you will see that these charges, opposite charges get neutralizes, because opposite charges, they come close each other. Got it? So in short, what is happening? What about the charges on these two sides? This side, you have accumulated negative charges, isn't it? To neutralize them, you don't have any other charge there. Likewise, here you have accumulated positive charges. To neutralize them, you don't have any other charges. So this is what is happening as a sample as a whole when this dielectric is kept in an external electric field. So even if the sample is polarized, it is a point to be noted. See, inside the dielectric, there is no charge actually, no net charge is there inside the dielectric, but on the surface of the dielectric, there appears a charge. Okay, so because of that, we have the surface charge densities sigma p and minus sigma p on the two sides. So that P suffix, it stands for the surface charge density due to polarization. So if we look for any volume charge density, what is the volume charge density inside the dielectric? That is 0, because inside the dielectric there is no charge, because all the charges are getting neutralized. But on the surface, on either surface of the dielectric, you will have surface charge densities like this. So surface charge density is not equal to 0, but volume charge density will be equal to 0 when the dielectric is getting polarized in the presence of external electric field. So that is the conclusion. That is, when a dielectric is kept in an external electric field, the polarization produced, that polarization vector P, is in the direction of external electric field, and it is due to the surface charge densities produced due to this polarization minus sigma P and plus sigma P on either surfaces. And very important point to be noted, that is uniformly polarized dielectric amounts to induced surface charge density but no volume charge density. So volume charge density will be equal to 0, but the dielectric will have non-zero surface charge density. And another point to be noted is, where comes this negative and positive surface charge densities? Look, what is the direction of electric field? It is from left to right. So on left surface you have negative charges and on right surface you have positive charges. So negative surface charge density on the left side and positive surface charge density on the right side. So this is how actually that first picture what we explained, or when we started I have shown this diagram. That means when a dielectric is kept in an external electric field, what is the case? So when the dielectric is kept in an external electric field, inside the dielectric, electric field is not equal to 0, because there is an electric field which is produced due to this polarization, because there is a negative sigma p on left side and positive sigma p on right side. Because of that an electric field is produced. That's what we have written E in, induced electric field. But that is not equal to the magnitude of external electric field. Okay, so these two fields will not get cancelled and it will not give a 0 answer. There exists an electric field inside the dielectric. So in the case of dielectric, net electric field is not equal to 0, but in the case of a conductor, that net electric field will be equal to 0. So this comparison is very important. Many a time this has come for board exam, that is difference in behavior of a conductor and a dielectric in an external electric field. So study well to draw this diagram. So this is a topic which we did not discuss in that live session, that example. So these are explanatory type questions. Let's go through one by one. A comb run through one's dry hair attracts small bits of paper. What happens if the hair is wet or if it is a rainy day? Remember, a paper does not conduct electricity. So this case with this comb or scale, we have already discussed that polarization induced induction is taking place, charging by induction we have already discussed. So here what makes the difference when the hair is wet? So first of all, for the comb to attract this small bits of paper, this comb should get charged. Then only it can induce charge on the bits of paper. So how this comb is getting charged? By frictional electricity. That means for frictional electricity to arise, the hair should be dry. That means for friction to arise, the surface should be rough. No, if it is wet or oily, it will be smooth and frictional electricity will not arise. So the comb will not get charged, so it cannot attract small bits of paper. That is why it's not attracting. Okay. Second one, ordinary rubber is an insulator, but special tires of aircraft are made slightly conducting. Why is this necessary? The thing is this, in the case of aircraft and all, when it start moving, no, that means along the runway and all, when the things gets rubbed against each portion, no, that means wherever there is rubbing, frictional electricity arises. That means charging by friction arises. So to neutralize or to ground that frictional electricity directly to ground, for earthing, for suitable earthing only, this tires, special tires are used in aircraft. It is made slightly conducting. Whatever frictional charges arise, that frictional charges will be earthed that moment itself. For that purpose only it is specially made. Vehicles carrying inflammable materials usually have metallic rods touching the ground during motion. Why? The same thing. That means when the things are in motion, there is always a chance of charges produced due to friction. and these charges, when it becomes very high, there will be electric discharge. Because of that electric discharge, there may be spark produced. So in the case of vehicles carrying inflammable materials, such a spark may cause an accident, you know. So to avoid that, a rope, metallic rope, will be touching this ground. Okay, so the thing is this, whenever however this frictional electricity arises, or charging by friction arise, that moment itself that charge will be earthed. A bird perches on a bare high power line and nothing happens to the bird. A man standing on the ground touches the same line and gets a fatal shock. Why? This you might have seen, means every day we see birds sitting on the high power line, and if you try to touch that power line, surely you will get electric shock. What makes the difference? See, when you might have seen this scene also, some bats and all, they lose their life, and just hanging between the two lines, you might have seen. Okay, so what makes this difference? The thing is this, if the bird is sitting on single line, that single line, or the two legs are on the same line. Okay, so for the bird, the two legs are on same potential. There is no potential difference. Charge starts flowing only if there is a potential difference. So through the body of the bird, there won't be any conduction, because both the legs are on the same potential. But in the case if the bat, in the case of bat only this takes place usually, if the two parts of its body touches two power lines, okay, that moment there is a potential difference, because between any two lines among the transmission lines, there is a potential difference. So by chance, if the body of the bird itself touches the two lines, that moment there will be passage of electricity or current through it, and that moment gets shock and it will lose its life. That is what is happening. So for whatever the case with a human being standing on the ground, if you are touching the one of the lines, surely you will get electric shock. If you manage to hang on one of the lines, of course you won't be getting. But don't try, for God's sake. I'm just telling the theory, that is, there is no chance of getting electric shock if you are holding both hands on the same line without touching the ground. Your body should not touch anywhere on the same line. No part of your body should touch any other line also, because between any one line and ground there is a potential difference. Between any two lines among the transmission cables, there is potential difference. So whenever there is potential difference, there will be a conduction of electricity. So that makes the difference. Hope you followed. So only this much for today. Thank you.